Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com, and this is a ride Helix wide. The ride Helix wide is a great all-mountain freestyle deck that I'd say sits closer to the freestyle spectrum than the all-mountain spectrum within the category. It's a great board, and it's wide. It's for anyone with size 11 feet and larger, and Ride does a great job at making their boards progressively wider. So if you're riding a 13 or 14 boot, you're still going to have a fun time on any Ride wide version snowboard. This is a great board for any bigger person who happens to want to be in the park and just rip it. This is the board that Yuki Kodono competes in. I know a lot of kids here in the Midwest that absolutely slay on this thing. It's an asymmetrical style shape, meaning that there's one heel side edge and one toe side edge. This is actually the heel side edge. So if you're a regular foot, you ride it this way. If you're goofy foot, you ride it that way. And it makes for an easier ride, specifically on your heel side edge. It's just easier to turn. It also has a camber profile. From contact point to contact point, the thing is camber. It has a lot of pop and a lot of energy. And this board seems to be just a little bit more aggressive than other boards with very similar style construction. Now there is a center stance, a 2x4 inserts that allow for pretty much endless possibility of stance options, and a flex rating from what Ride says as a 6. And I'd have to agree with that. It's maybe just even a little bit stiffer or a little bit more responsive than a 6. It's a very aggressive and poppy style board, and that has a lot to do with the actual core. It's called a Pop Rods 2.0 core. There's actually 4 different sections of the finger jointed core that have been milled out for a urethane sandwich style carbon stringer that radiates from basically underneath your foot to pass the contact points in between your insert packs and your heel side and both your toe side edge on both the nose and on the tail. That adds a lot of energy without adding a lot of stiffness to the board, but it does provide a lot of pop. And then there's the hybrid style glass. Now, it's biax on bottom. It runs at 0 and 90 degrees. Biax is just a little bit softer of glass. And then there's triax on top at, I believe, negative 45, and at 0 degrees. And then there's additional laminates to that as well. So there's a lot of stuff going in this board that makes it so lively. There's 2 things that are the additional laminates are the sidewall. So the first part is the sidewall. And this is a slime wall, but it's an upgrade. It's called the roll-in slime wall, meaning that there's a 3D carbon structure or fiberglass structure along the top, the back, and the bottom side of that urethane slime wall that gives it just a little bit more strength, with also allowing it to be nice and smooth because, well, it's urethane. And then secondly is the Carbon Array 3. Carbon stringers that radiate from near the contact points to basically underneath your foot for a greater energy transfer from your body directly to the snow. The base is lightning fast. I love what Ride does with their bases. They always seem to pop. There's always a lot of contrast. If you're a photographer, you know that some Ride boards tend to be like some of the greatest boards to shoot because they just look so good. This is a die-cut base. It's a Fusion 4000. It's sintered. It absorbs tons of wax, and it has a lot of structure right out of the bag. It does come with a factory wax, of course. And then there's that 360 wrap edge. Now, this is a special edge. It's called the cleave edge, which means that there's 50% more steel, meaning that it'll be less likely to crack or break. This is an awesome board. If you like riding really hard, you're a park guy or girl with big feet, you should definitely check out the Ride Helix wide at thehouse.com.